Hello, my name is Fernando, and today I'm going to share with you 5 steps to help you enroll your first or your next person into your team, overcoming the fear of rejection. Think of it like a sort of a short course on how to use Facebook to attract your first or next person without having to blast your product or your opportunity links all over social media. So let's get started. Step number 1 is something that a lot of network marketers, more so newbie network marketers, tend to overlook, and that is having the right philosophy for success. Now, before we do anything, before we approach people, before we look at marketing ourselves, branding ourselves on social media, in terms of building a network marketing business, the first thing you want to do is you want to have the right philosophy for success. Now, what does the right philosophy for success look like? It's about understanding how to think, how to approach your business. And so I'll give you a couple of examples. The first thing that we want to do is we want to stop worrying about what other people are doing. So you might have seen other people rank advanced. You might have seen leaders do really well. And you might be wondering, why not you? When are you going to get there? What does that look like? And so the first thing you want to do is you don't want to compare, but you want to work on a philosophy called personal best. And personal best means basically that you're only going to ever compete with yourself. You're going to look at where you are now, and then you're going to measure your progress from here to here. Now, there are things that you need to do, and one of the things that I'm making available for you is a free resource where you can actually measure your own personal best in terms of how many people you want to connect with and all the things you need to do on a daily basis to actually connect and improve your results with your business. That's the first step in terms of how you want to think about it. The second thing I want to talk about in terms of philosophy of success is actually knowing that constant spaced repetition over time is going to create a quantum leap in your results. And so again, going back to results, you might be wondering, well, why aren't I getting results sooner? Why is it taking so long? And so you start to panic, you start to get frustrated, you start to maybe look at other opportunities, other people, other companies, jumping, never actually giving yourself enough time. So what you want to do is you want to identify what are the actual steps, what are the actual actions that you need to be taking on a daily basis that in and of themselves on their own may not mean much, but as you start to build on them day by day, they're going to have a compound effect, which at one point is going to cause you to become what people call that overnight success. So that overnight success can come, but it happens at a turning point after you've consistently taken some actions. And so there are certain things you need to understand about how you approach your business from a mental point of view. And that's step number 1. Now, inside the 5-day social media launch formula, I actually go into a lot more detail, but I want to give you enough here so that if all you see is this video, you actually start to think about your personal best and taking simple daily consistent actions every day that are going to move you forward towards achieving the goals that you want. And so now we move on to step number 2. So now you know how to think about your business. Now you've got the right mindset. Now you know what you want. Now you know how to approach it. Now we have to start thinking about who is it that you want to attract to your business. Now, most people overlook this step and they just get on busy, connecting with people, inviting everybody to be their friend on social media and stuff like that. Now, if you don't do this step, in my opinion, and this is after 4,000 conversations I've had with lots of people over 50 countries, if you overlook this step, it can be very costly in terms of time, and it can be very costly in terms of money and results, because you're not going to have a strategy. You're not going to know what content to put out if you don't know who you're speaking to. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to understand who is it that you want to attract. Is it male? Is it female? Are they married? Are they single? How old are they? Do they have a family? And so again, you want to start answering these questions for yourself. Thinking about, I want to attract, mothers just like me if you're a mom, or dads just like me if you're a dad. That's too broad. So we have to go really specific. It's not a niche. It's not a group. It's not a demographic. It's one person that you want to attract. Now, I've created a free resource for you inside the social media launch formula where you can download all the questions that you want to be answering about your perfect prospect. I call it something about Mary. You're going to know who Mary is because you are going to define your prospect with a name because they're a real person. And once you've got these questions answered, you're going to have a far better understanding, a far deeper connection with the person that you want to speak to in terms of your social media marketing, in terms of your messaging, in terms of anything that you put out there. It's going to resonate with them because you've taken the time to think about who it is that you want to attract. And you probably even understand them better than they understand themselves. Okay? There is also a really important aspect of this exercise. And one of the questions, you're going to really start to identify something that you may not have thought about. And that is really getting present to what is this business really about for you? Is it really about you? Or is it really about the person you're trying to make a difference for? Now, this is so powerful that for some of the people that I've coached in this process, once they've gotten present to that person and what it's really about, it's made the shift emotionally within them to go out and take more action. Because now they realize it's not about them. Even though you may be in a little bit of pain in terms of what you want to achieve, maybe in terms of your finances, maybe in terms of your business, maybe in terms of any results, but the person you want to help may be in even greater pain. And when you get present to that, it changes everything for you. Okay, so that's a really important day number 2. And this is about you now understanding. So again, if all you're watching is this video, I've given you some of the questions here that you want to start thinking about. What's their name? Who are they? Are they married? Do they have kids? Where do they connect on social media? What is it that keeps them up at night? You know, what's the biggest pain? What are the challenges that they don't foresee coming? And what's the biggest opportunity that might exist right now that they don't even know about just yet? And that's something that I go into a lot more detail inside the Social Media Launch Formula. So again, be sure to check that out. It's in the description, the link. You want to do that. But that's step number 2. So now you've got the right mindset. Now you know who it is that you want to work with. Now that you know that, the next step is where do you find that person? And so I want to take a minute, and that's step number 3. Where do you find your prospects? So I'm going to share with you one place where you can start to go and find your perfect Mary or your perfect John, if it happens to be a male, right? And so if you're a network marketer, which obviously chances are you are if you're watching this video, probably you follow some leaders, you follow some gurus, you follow some people that are, leading the industry, other network marketers, and you may have even visited their pages. We all do, we all have. Now, once you visit a network marketer's page, if they know what they're doing, if they're a marketer, what they tend to do is they have a pixel on their website. Now, all a pixel means is a piece of code that Facebook recognizes that you, the name of your computer or your phone, has visited them on their page, and it starts to track you. So when that leader starts to create Facebook ads, they might want to serve those ads to only people that have visited their site because you already know who they are. So it's going to be a lot cheaper for them to actually put the message in front of you. And so you might be wondering, when you go through your social media, you're trying to find out what your friends did on Friday night and all the stuff that your friends are posting. All of a sudden here you see a sponsored post. And lo and behold, it's from somebody that you know, a leader, and you might be thinking, oh, how do they know that, that I want to see their content? Well, it's not because they're magicians. It's because they've had a piece of code on their website, and so now they're tracking you and they're serving their messages to your newsfeed. So how does this help you? Right, that's a great question. So let me walk you through that. When you see that ad, instead of being annoyed by it, what you want to do is you want to actually look at how many people have reacted to that ad. Now, what do I mean by reacted? You might know yourself when, you like somebody's comments or somebody's post, maybe your friends, maybe other people that you follow on social media. You might go and give it a heart. You might go and give it a like. You might even give it a wow, right? And so underneath the ad, underneath the image, typically there's an image, there's going to be a lot of reactions if it's actually been an ad that's been running for a while. And so you can click on those reactions link, and it's going to open up all the different people that have liked, all the different people that have hearted, and the people that might have wowed, and maybe some cried or didn't like it or sad, whatever, right? And as you start to look at that list, you're going to see a list of people, and you're going to be able to see their names. And if you're already connected with them, you see a little button that says message, which means you can obviously go and message that person. But chances are there'll be many people that you don't have as friends, and you can just go and click add friend, add friend, add friend, and just send invites to those people. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, if they're following a leader that you follow, somebody whose content you enjoy, then chances are they're also network marketers, and they might be a good prospect for what you do in your company and your opportunity, because you don't know where people are in terms of what they're doing right now. And the one thing you don't want to do is prejudge. But before you press that button to add them as a friend, you want to take a minute to go and check their profile, because there are 3 rules you need to follow. You need to make sure they do have a real photo in their profile, so they're a real person and not just a made-up profile. You need to make sure that they live in a country that you can actually prospect in and enroll with your company. There's no point in adding friends from Switzerland if you're never going to be able to, sponsor them into your team. And yes, it's nice to connect with people all over the world, but you can do that at other times. We're talking about how to build your business using Facebook strategies. So this is about doing business, not just adding friends for the sake of it. And third step here, what you want to do is you want to check their wall, and you want to make sure that they're actually sharing content that's positive, that's inspiring, that's things that you'd post yourself. You definitely don't want to add friends, people that are sharing political statements or racist stuff or things like that, right? So take a minute to do that. It'll be worth your while. And also you'll be able to see how many mutual friends you have. And if you've got some mutual friends, then even better, right? So you go and add them as friends, and you can just work through that list. Now, you do have to be careful how many you add, because Facebook will know. And if at some point Facebook throws a little captcha, which is where you have to select the traffic lights or the bikes or the crosswalks or whatever, don't complete the captcha. Just exit and come back. Maybe save the ad. And you can actually save the ad by pressing on the 3 dots on the top right hand corner. You can save the ad to come back later and continue that process. But this is one place where you can actually add friends that could be your prospect, because now you know who it is. So you check the profile, you get a sense of, could that be the Mary that I'm after? Could that be the John that I'm after? And of course, it doesn't mean they're going to sign up with you, but it's the start of that process of creating connections and starting to engage, right? So that's how you do it. Of course, you also want to go and read the comments, and if anybody's commented and you like some of the comments, you might respond to one of the comments on the ad, and then you might actually start a discussion, and you might add a friend through there. There are 3 other ways that you can find friends for free without paying for ads, and I go through those details inside the social media launch formula. So you definitely want to go and check the full course over the 5 days, and the link, like I said before, is here in the description. So now you know the philosophy for success. Now you know who it is that you want. You know what questions you're going to answer to determine that person. You also now know where to find these people. At least you've got one strategy on how to find your perfect prospect that you want to attract. Now it's about how do you engage with them. And you may notice that on Facebook, there's a lot of people doing Facebook Live video. And so live video is the best way to really give people a sense of who you are, what you're about, to lead with value, to share content, to share ideas, to inspire them and to help them with tips and things like that. Now, right now, you might be thinking everything was going great in steps 1 and 2 and 3, but now I'm really annoyed because I'm an introvert and I hate doing video and I'm never going to do video. Or maybe you do want to, but you're afraid about what people might say about you. You might feel judged. All these sort of things that come up for a lot of people. And I actually cover that inside the training, all the different reasons why people don't do video. But all I can say to you is this. I've coached thousands of people through this process, people who were terrified, people who had sweaty palms before they did the video, people who felt like throwing up, right? But once you understand the 4 steps to follow, now you've got a formula, right? Just like this course that I'm talking about. And once you follow the formula, it makes your life really simple. So I'm going to give you the 4 steps briefly. So again, if all you watch is this video right now, at least you have the tools to go and start doing this stuff and get into action. So the first thing you want to do when you're doing a Facebook Live video is you want to introduce yourself. Hey, my name's Fernando. Very excited to be here. The second thing you want to do is you want to introduce the topic that you want to talk about, and you want to introduce it with a question. So an example of that might be, hey, have you thought about what is the best way to connect with people on social media? And that's the question for your topic. Well, I'm going to share some of those tips with you right now. Now, you could, if you want to get creative, reverse the 2. You could introduce the topic and then say, hello, my name is Fernando, and today I want to talk about that. Step number 3 in the 4 steps of doing an effective Facebook Live is to actually deliver the content that you prepared, and you want to do that with engagement. Now, how do you deliver with engagement? You want to ask lots of questions. Can you see how it will be really powerful to know what you want to say before you connect with people? Can you see how it makes sense to know who you want to talk to before you try and reach out to someone? See how I'm asking you these questions? They cause you to think. And when you ask a question, it draws the person in, it draws their brain, so they actually have to answer the question, because the brain forgets everything, just wants to answer the questions you've asked. Now, the other way to create engagement is to have deliberate pauses. Just like that. And why do I do that? Because if they're busy and they're watching your video and all of a sudden, there's stuff going on around the house, maybe little John is pulling on mum's skirt, wanting dinner or something like that, all of a sudden there's a pause, silence. It's like, well, what's going on? And they're coming back to your video. So really important that you have pauses. There is a thing called tie downs, and tie downs is something that I go into detail inside the social media launch formula. So again, you want to check that out. And these are strategies on how to get people to start to agree with you, to start to develop what we know, that know, like, and trust factor. People have to get a sense of they know you. They have to feel like they like you before they can trust you. And there's certain ways that you can speak that are going to cause them to start to develop that factor, so that they feel like they actually have a connection with you. Okay, and then the last step in the 4 steps of doing an effective Facebook Live is to actually have a really powerful and a deliberate call to action. So you don't want to just say, hey, if you like my video, like and share, like a lot of people do. You actually want to think about, what is it that you want them to do? Maybe you want to check in with them to see if they got value from the video. Did you find this video interesting? Did you find some value? I would love to know exactly what it is that you got from this. Leave me a comment below. And hey, if there's somebody that you know needs to hear this information, go ahead and share it with them. Just press the share button. I'd love to make a difference together. Can I count on you to do that? Right? So there you have it. 4 steps to doing an effective Facebook Live. And once you follow those 4 steps, you're going to be on your way. Now, if you start doing them on a regular basis, at first you might feel a little bit nervous. But what I've noticed is inside the social media launch formula, I actually give you a 21-day challenge. Now, you don't start with the challenge. You start by actually understanding how to do the steps. But once you've gotten through that process, then you start the challenge. And inside the challenge, I explain exactly why you'll do it, how to do it, what it means, and what you're going to discover. And what you're going to find is that after the first 7 days of being nervous, maybe a little bit apprehensive, you're going to start to feel more comfortable. And after 15 days, you actually can't wait to get on and do your next video. And I also said the question that might be coming up for you right now is, that all sounds fine and well, but I don't even know what I want to talk about. Well, I actually give you different places where to go and find information to share, because you don't have to be a content creator to do Facebook Lives. You just have to be a content curator, which means you can find stuff you're learning from, books you're reading, other people's content. You can spin it and you can share your version of that as well. So there you have it. 4 steps down, 1 step to go. So let's just do, well, actually I'll do a recap in a second. So step number 5. So you already have got the first 4 steps under your belt. The last thing, now that you know how to engage with people, you don't be surprised. You're going to have people start reaching out saying, hey, what do you do? I've been following you for a while. I noticed that you're sharing really valuable content. I'd love to maybe get to know you a little bit better, learn a little bit more about what you do. And that's the perfect opportunity for you to invite them onto a call. So you invite them onto a call, and once they agree to be on a call, you actually want to know what to say on that call, right? So it's really important that you know what you want to say and how to lead them through a powerful conversation. So how do you do that? Number 1, you got to understand what are the questions you need to ask to make sure that you're leading them through that journey. Because if you don't ask the right questions, then the danger you're going to have here is that if there's somebody that's been around for a while, they might start prospecting you instead. And that's not something that you want to have happen. So the person that asks the question is the person that leads the conversation. And so you want to know what questions to ask, like, hey, tell me a little bit more about where you're at, what you're doing, how long have you been doing it for, what is it that you want to get out of your business, what does that really mean to you, why is that important? So this is all like aspiration type questions to get a sense of, are they goal driven, have they got an idea of their vision? And then once you've got an idea of the vision, you might want to ask questions around, well, why aren't you there yet? Like, what stopped you from being closer to your goal? What sort of things have gotten in the way? Held you back, maybe stopped you, and what impact is that having on you, and what would be the worst thing about things not changing for you, right? So these are some of the questions you can ask that's going to give you a sense of where they're stuck. So because you want to discover, can you help them? And the whole point of this enrollment conversation is to really understand, are they a good fit to work with you? And also, are you a good fit for them? Because it is a two-way evaluation. And once you've done all that, then you're going to ask a really powerful question to really qualify, are they open? And are they open in spite of being in another company, perhaps? Because potentially you're going to approach people, you're going to connect with people that are already in a company. But before you start, stressing over poaching people and stealing people's downlines, just know this. I've coached thousands of people, like I said before. And one thing I discovered is that most people that are on social media today are only really in their company or have been in their company anywhere from 6 months to a year. And you don't know where they are. And I talked earlier about prejudging people, right? So they might be frustrated with their upline. They might be frustrated with their products. They might be frustrated with the company. They may not be the results. Companies are always changing. There's always issues going on. And maybe the timing is right for them to start to look at, well, maybe I need a new leader, somebody that really believes in me and can show me the way. And that could be you. And so if they're open, then I'm going to show you how to actually have them look at your opportunity. But you want to do it in a way where they feel like they're still being qualified in, and you're not just giving them everything, like you're not trying to sell. Because the moment you feel like you're trying to sell, you're going to start to feel really awkward. They're going to get that energy and they're just going to shut down. And so there's certain things you can do and say that's going to keep the conversation really open and in exploration, so to speak. You're exploring together. The one thing I can ask you not to do here is definitely do not get attached. Do not get attached to them joining your business. You got to give people permission to say no, so they have permission to say yes. So now you know what questions to ask. There is a script that I've created. It's a framework. I've called it the perfect script for network marketers. And it actually shows you specifically the questions to ask and in what order, so that you are naturally leading your prospect through that journey that we talked about. And how to share and how to qualify and what to say. And when should you show them your opportunity? Should you tell them the name of your company? Or should you not tell them the name of your company? How do you know? When do you do that? Quite a few things to know here, right? But I think with what I've given you so far is enough for you to start to have those conversations and start to play with these ideas as you start to build your confidence in prospecting and speaking with new people online. So there you have it, the 5 steps. Let's do a quick recap of what they are. So number 1, we talked about having the philosophy of success. Number 2, we want to define who is your perfect prospect that you want to attract. Once you've defined that prospect, number 3, you want to know where do you find that person. Number 4, how to engage them using live video. And then number 5, how to transition them to a call. And then how to have a really powerful enrollment conversation that's authentic. That's genuine, that's not salesy, that's not pitchy, that's not slimy, all that sort of stuff. It's actually just exploring on how you can work together. So I want to invite you to go ahead and click on the link in the description and get access. There is no need for you to give me your email. It actually will be delivered into your inbox in Messenger. So day by day will be delivered and all the resources are going to be there. There are tons of resources for you to know exactly what you need to do every step of the way. If you apply yourself for the next 5 days, and I've kept the videos relatively short, I think 45 minutes to an hour at the most, which is obviously a fair bit of content to cover to give you all the ins and outs. But after these 5 days, you're going to have everything you need to actually go out and start prospecting effectively on social media to attract your first or maybe your next person into your team. Now, if you want to know who's done the program, other people's experiences, there's a link in the description also of some testimonials. There's a playlist here on the YouTube channel. You can go and watch other people and the different things they've taken out of the program from the different days. It's really important for you to get a sense of that so you know exactly what's available and what's possible for you. So I want to say thank you for taking time to watch this video. I hope it's made a difference for you. I hope that you take the ideas and you put them into action. And I want to wish you every ongoing success. Now, there's also links on here on how to connect with me on Facebook. So if you have any questions, any concerns, leave me a comment. Be sure to like and subscribe. Click the subscribe button on the channel so you don't miss any trainings. I am always putting content out to help you build your business online. I'm not a guru, so I do share everything for free. And I believe information should be given for free. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Your first step is to get the 5-day social media launch formula and get started with that today. Thank you for watching the video. God bless. All the best. Bye for now.